Hello. I've noticed that there is a lack of sort guides, so this is going to be a guide slash comparison um, for cold sort and how I like to build them in PD2. Season 9 soft core, and let's get into it. So I like using Skull Collector for the bone armor that it gives. It is overall the um, most comfy build in PD2 for Sork, in my opinion, for mapping. There's other ways to build this. Feel free to go your own route. I use Skull Collector. Um, the thing about the Skull Collector shell is you choose if you want to go fire, lightning, or cold, throw the facets that you want in it, and jam it. Um, I like using ES for mapping Energy Shield. It just gives you a lot of tankiness and also lets you invest a lot into energy, which synergizes with the bone armor from Skull Collector and essentially makes you very tanky to physical damage, and you don't really need to stack faster hit recovery since all the little hits are going to be absorbed by the bone armor. So it's just a very nice quality of life setup, even though you can use other things such as Death Fathom and a shield, what have you. Um, Another pro about going Energy Shield is you don't really need to cap your elemental resistances. I still would on hardcore, but the main one that you want to cap is poison resistance. So anyway, here's Skull Collector using -5 plus 3 facets, so I am leaving some damage on the table by not using 5/5s, and you can also get another skill rolled on here. Mine's only a +2. Night Wings for the enemy cold resistance, the pierce, and the 2 skills, and the cold skill damage. Also, it gives half freeze duration. So they changed it, I think, this season with 2 sources of half freeze duration. It essentially is the same as cannot be frozen. Get that with our ring here and our night wings. The amulet that I'm using just needs to be 15 faster cast rate with my setup. You don't need 18 exactly. 20 would be better because then it would give us some more room on our other pieces. But here's the amulet I'm using. Stone of Jordan for the mana. We really need the mana and the one skill for mana pool or survivability. The boots are a pretty flexible slot. Um, Caster boots with percent mana and flat mana are probably best in slot with life after each kill corruption. Um, but the faster hit recovery, strength, and the poison resistance, it's really good for Trex. Arachnids for faster cast rate, Strangle's Claws. These could be Mage Fist or Cultists. I just needed the 30 faster cast rate corruption for my 200 FCR breakpoint. Um, so what we're gonna do, let's go over the Merc real quick. So the Merc, using Ferocity and Innocence. If you don't know about this combo, you should. It's really good with Nova skills because you're diving in the middle of enemies. The Blade Shield procs the taunt. The taunt makes all the monsters start walking towards you and attack your Merc instead of you. And it's just a really nice defensive combo and actually enhances your clear speed by making them come towards your Nova. This combo is not as necessary when you're using Barrage or Frozen Orb, but we are going to just keep the Merc the same for all 3 skills. With Nova, since I have a lot of Pierce built in from Cold Mastery and my items, currently at my Mercenary up, currently at 87%, 88 with BO. Um, I don't feel Infinity is necessary, so we're using a Storm Spire to just automatically take some life off the top of the enemies and increase clear speed. But again, this is really for a Nova setup. If you're using Frozen Orb or Ice Barrage, then an Insight or an Infinity or a Zenith polearm would work just fine. You could even go Obedience or just some big damage if you want to kill immunes. On swap, we're using Call to Arms and a Lidless. So let's get straight into it. We are going to be doing some Zoltan Cool maps. While we're talking about maps, let's go ahead and talk about what maps I like to farm with Cold Sorks. The T1s, I like doing Torgen Jungle, Sewers, and you can do Shadows of Westmarch, but I really just stick to these two. Tier 2, we have Zoltan Cool and Trials. Both of these are really good. There are the zombies that drop Poison Clouds on Ancestral Trial, and that can be a bit annoying, but it is a very good map. Also, if you're running with Infinity, you can break the Cold Immunes on Lost Temple, and it's a really nice close quarters map that's fun to do as well. For tier 3s, we have Phlegathon, which has the spear throwing Hellcats. They're quite dangerous, but with sufficient bone armor, you should be able to do these just fine on players 1. Pandemonium Citadel, it's also really good. Again, there's some dangerous stuff on there, but the bone armor kind of takes care of that. And if you're using Infinity, Ruin Cistern is also a very good choice. As you can see, I have a bunch of Zoltan Cools. It's kind of my bread and butter. I have 3 pretty similarly rolled maps here that we are going to run to showcase the 3 different skills. And the only roll that I really tried to avoid is Crushing Blow, because Crushing Blow kind of it bypasses Bone Armor and Energy Shield, and it'll put you in a faster hit recovery animation, and we try to avoid that. That's kind of the whole reason we use Bone Armor. So, alright. We're going to use a token here. And we will first do Ice Barrage. We will end on Nova because that is my preferred skill. So we need enough strength to put on our boots, and then the strength from the boots we'll put on our helmet. And we're going to shift click energy. For Ice Barrage, we need to max Ice Bolt, Glacial Spike, and Ice Barrage. We do that, always 1 into Warmth, 1 into Teleport, down 20 Energy Shield. That's kind of the base setup for a Skull Collector build. You're always going to go 20 Energy Shield, and then choose the skill that you want to do. So for Ice Barrage, we're going to go straight down to Ice Barrage. We're going to max Ice Barrage, Glacial Spike, Ice Bolt, with the last points. Just one last check before you forget to skill something. Last points into Cold Mastery. So we're going to run Ice Barrage on our right click, and we'll get into our first map. So with Ice Barrage, you just kind of... Pros and cons of Ice Barrage are it's really good single target damage. It's about the same clear speed as Orb, as you'll see here in a second. But it's a very safe setup. You just kind of sit back, throw shards. The AoE is a little low compared to Orb or Nova, but it's a very good skill. You see we're just melting right through everything. So how this skill works is it shoots out 5 projectiles, and they shotgun. So when they hit, as you can see, choose these little ice clouds, and you can stack those ice clouds on top of one target by varying how you throw mouse out. So farther or closer to you, they're more spread out. With orb, you have to actually stay at a good distance to hit the final explosion of the orb on the targets. But with Ice Barrage, you can just kind of sit back, or you could play close if you want, by tele-stomping and letting the AoE do its thing. So I highly recommend Ice Barrage or Frozen Orb. It's really personal preference for a hardcore character, because you can just kind of sit back and play a lot safer. So we're just gonna full clear this map, and then we will jump straight into Frozen Orb and do the same thing. Nova is by far the fastest mapping setup out of all 3 of these, but it really has bad single target, as you'll see on the map boss here in a second. But with Ice Barrage and Orb, you actually can do Ubers and mini Ubers, even on hardcore. And that gives a lot of versatility to your sword. They're also both very good skills for rushing. As you can do Player's 8 no problem with the amount of damage that they offer. So I know this isn't the most efficient pathing here. I'm not used to recording, but it should be good enough for a demo here. There's an argument for doing fortified maps actually with Orb and Ice Barrage, as the single target damage is really high, but I prefer just seeing lots of monsters on my screen. They could increase clear time. So on immunes, you can use Battle Cry that your CTA gives you, and really helps your Merc take them down, or you can just skip them. I usually kill them because, I don't know, I like killing them. Builds play the same on softcore as hardcore. If you are a hardcore player, I would recommend not going 200 FCR to start until you can get FCR Soges and a 30 FCR Occultist, because you really do need the percentage mana that both of those give to really pump your effective HP pool. As you can see, this skill just eats this map alive. Super safe, just sitting back, not even like trying to be super good at clearing. So on the boss, you're going to back up, let your Merc take him, and you're going to try and stack all 5 of the Ice Barrages on the boss, just like that. Absolutely melts him. Clear this room, and we'll respec the orb. Do another full clear. Alright, that is a full clear.
Hello.
Do our items real quick. That's not a bad charm. And speaking of charms, I forgot to go over charms. So let's do that real quick. Torch Annie, like all builds, really don't need vitality as much as energy and resistance. For small charms, you want to cap your poison resistance, and the rest should be 17 mana charms. Old skillers, life really doesn't matter. Strength would be nice, like that one I have. So, anywhere that is Ice Barrage will respect Orb. Get our map. Again, strength until we have enough to wear our gear. Shift click energy. Point teleport. Full energy shield. Warmth. And now we're going to do Frozen Orb. So we have Ice Bolt and Frost Nova as the synergies. Work our way down. Frozen Orb. Max it. Max Frost Nova. Max Ice Bolt. Rest into Cold Mastery. Change our right click to Frozen Orb. And let's get right into it. Cast our BO. Cast Energy Shield. So Frozen Orb, the pros of it is it has really good single target, but it just moves really slow, and that's one reason why I don't enjoy it. It has a bit more AoE than Ice Barrage because of the spreading shards, but it just really moves slow. So for all three skills, you want 200 FCR for the breakpoint. With Frozen Orb, you really have to kind of play back and try to position. I'm not even doing it optimally. But you want to position where the orb terminates kind of in the mass, like the center mass of the group of monsters. You can play aggressive, but it's not going to be the max damage. See right there, we had double Borid packs there. The bone armor got taken off, but then we immediately put it back on due to our casts. Go get our merc back. And it saved us from dying. Didn't know this was a dolls map. It should be no problem. Just kind of have to play around that. Try not to telly stomp in the middle of them. Got a couple of immunes here. We just cast Warcry. Our merc makes short work of it. Immune. See, the skill works really well. You can, like I said, play quite safe by just kind of throwing it in rooms as it clears. It's just a little slower overall, in my experience, compared to the Ice Barrage or Nova. I'm not very adept at playing orbs, so I'm sure you could, if you decide to main this skill for a little while, you could get a lot better at optimal positioning and targeting, really improve your clear speed. Take care of another immune there. Now that I'm using this is the first time I've used Orb in a long time. I think the more optimal way to play is cast, then telly, cast, then telly, and you just kind of follow your orbs in. As far as clearing. Yeah, it's much quicker doing that. For the boss, kind of the same thing. You want the end of the orb to terminate on the boss to get the maximum single target DPS. Alright, did we clear all of this? No, we skipped a little bit, but that's good enough. There's an example of orb. It's kind of trolling for the first little bit of that, so by not really playing build properly, but that's enough to get an example of how orb works. The more time you put into it, better you will be than me. Alright, last but definitely not least, Clear Speed King, Ice Nova. Or Frost Nova. Get our final map here. So enough points in strength. Where our gear? Instant energy. So Frost Nova, we need Ice Bolt and Shiver Armor. I'm gonna go 1 Frost Nova, down to Shiver Armor. Make sure we get our teleport. Max our energy shield. Warmth. Max Frost Nova. Ice Bolt, Shiver Armor, and Cold Mastery for our last points. It should be noted that even though we have a level 40 Shiver Armor, we cannot use it because it will override the Bone Armor. So we are just not even going to hotkey that. Gotta put on our Frost Nova Ormus. Should be noted that you could use a Frozen Orb Ormus or Ice Nova. They share some of the same synergies, and you could use Frozen Orb kind of for bosses, but I like the double cast that you get using Frost Nova. It's our map, cast BO. So with Frost Nova, you kind of just want to go to the center mass of the packs and explode them. As long as you have the Ferocity Innocence combo, they'll just run right towards you with your Merc. Should be good. It should be noted this is a Dolls map, which again I didn't really mean to do, but it's fine. You just gotta stay moving. Try not to land middle of a bunch of dead dolls. As you can see, my play is quite a bit cleaner with Nova, because I've been playing it a lot. You don't have to like hold the button down until they're dead. You kind of know that 2 to 3 Novas kills everything that you hit on this map. Okay, that's going to be the true path down to the boss. Let's finish clearing out this side, and then we'll tele back on there and boss. I'm leaving some stragglers, but really I'm just trying to keep a good pace. You see like fanaticism or might or concentration. You kind of want to dive into that pack and murder them first. It's a very aggressive playstyle playing a Nova skill. That's really just so your Merc doesn't die. You take less damage overall, blow them up before they blow you up. Definitely wouldn't recommend this skill for low to medium gear hardcore. It takes quite a bit of setup to make it feel safe enough to use. Bare minimum, I would have about 2,500 mana and the Innocence Ferocity set up on your Merc before I would even attempt Frost Nova. candy. So the obvious pros of Cross Nova is how big the AoE is. You really have to aim or pay attention. You just hop in the middle of most monsters, clears them out. So I like to do the boss last, so I'll clear the area, we'll kill the boss, or you can even skip them with Nova. It does take a little while compared to the other two, because the single target is so bad. Boss was over here somewhere. There you go. There he is. Kind of just let your merc take aggro and hit him with the Frost Nova. Get a potion quite a bit because you don't instantly blow him up like the other two.
I am overburdened.
You have to deal with his poison. So anyway, that's kind of overview of how I like to play a Cold Sork and map with it. It's very comfy with the bone armor and energy shield combo. As long as you have some source of health per kill. Soul Collector comes built in with mana per kill. That's your sustain to kind of keep you going. All three of those can be done on the lesser breakpoint. I believe it's 117 for Frozen Orb instead of 105. The 200 really does help with the Ormus procs and just the overall feel of the build. If you have any questions, you can contact me on the PD2 Discord or ask the fine gentleman on the Sork discussion piece of the Discord there. They're more than happy to help. I hope this was informative, and thanks for watching. Bye.